Regan Slaymaker for International Boxing News, and I'm joined by Mark Dickinson. Mark, how you doing today, mate?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. You?
I'm very well, thank you. We'll jump straight into it. So you're back fighting on March 18th. How's camp
Yeah,
going, mate?
yeah, mate. Camp's going all good. Back training at Berkeley now, back at home. So yeah, happy man. I'm happy.
Perfect, mate. We'll jump straight into it. Obviously, you just said you kind of obviously you're training back home in Berkeley now, kind of not training with Ben Davison anymore. Kind of what was the reasons behind that change?
Um, to be honest, after my last fight, I was not impressed with the way I performed. I wasn't impressed at all. I thought I underperformed by a long shot. And I just thought I needed a change. Obviously, I'm not saying Ben's a bad coach. Ben's a very good coach. And you can see by the results you get. I just didn't think it was working for me.
Hmm.
I think every fight is different in that, and I've trained all over the world in that. I've been to America training, I've been to Kazakhstan training, I've done training camps with all different countries, and there's nowhere that really compares to training at Berkeley with my coach Graham Rutherford. So I just knew he knows me as a fighter, he knows me as a person better than anyone, and he'd be able to get the best out of me.
Perfect, mate. You do have to, obviously. I think everyone says boxing's a short career, and you do have to do what's best for you. So no, fair play to you.
You just got to do what's best for yourself. You're right.
Definitely, mate. We'll get jump straight into it. So as I said, back fight marching on a back fight. Oh, sorry, back fighting on March 18th. Obviously, fighting Ben Ridings, who's a significant step up, kind of, especially in your fifth
Yeah.
fight as well. Kind of, have you seen much of Ben? What can you expect, kind of, from in the ring when you're in the ring with Ben?
I've seen a little bit of him. I'm not really going to go too much into what he's like against too many other opponents because it's always different there. But I had a look at him and he looks like a game lad. He'll come to fight, he'll come to win, and that's what I want. I don't really want people to come and lay down. So that's what I want, and especially fighting at Newcastle in front of a home crowd. We want to give the fans a good night of boxing, and I think Ben will come to fight and he'll put up a good show.
Perfect, mate. I was speaking to kind of Junaid Boston a few weeks back, and he was saying kind of he was very honest with me. He was like, if you put a journeyman in front of him or someone next to that level, you don't see the best Junaid. Kind of he knows in his training he might cut a few corners and things like that. Do we definitely see the best Mark Dickinson when we see those guys in the ring with you who are coming to win? Kind of they're coming to win. They're coming to beat you, right? Do we see the best Mark Dickinson?
Um, yeah, you will. I mean, going off the last performance, you probably wouldn't think that, you know what I mean? But no, 100%. I think we're the same as Junaid boxed at a very high level as an amateur in that you're quite used to people coming to fight. And when you fight those journeymen and they're trying to survive in that, like it's a lot different in there. It's hard to get your own boxing flowing and that. But no, the more people come and try and win, the better I'll look against them.
Definitely, mate. And I do think you're being a bit overly critical about your performance, but that's just me. I was in the arena that night on the Dylan White card, but no, I think I spoke to a few boxers, and I think you guys, you kind of have to be your own worst critic in a way because you do want to go.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was a good.
It's when it's when you know the standard that you can be at and the standard that it needs to be at to go to the. I'm not in boxing to just for the crack of it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't want to be and didn't think I could be a world champion. So this is the reason why I do it. And if I'm not up to them standards, then I'm never going to be happy with myself.
Perfect, mate, and very honest of you to speak like that as well, mate. Obviously, you mentioned there kind of you're fighting in Newcastle, fighting so close to your hometown. What does that mean to you, mate? Obviously, Cyrus headlining as well. Kind of what does that
Yeah,
mean, kind of headlining?
Cyrus headlining, brilliant for the boxing club and that, brilliant for Cyrus as well. And I think it's good. It's good for the northeast to actually see some top class boxing in the hometown.
Mm.
We've got top lads on here, and I know like we're prospects in that, but I think it's going to be a top night of boxing, and it's good for obviously my last fight in London and that there wasn't a lot of people so close to Christmas that could make the trip down, so it means a lot to be able to fight in front of my friends and that, in front of my family and that, and put on a good show. Like it means a lot, and all the support is much appreciated as well. I love it, so no, it's good, man.
That's good. I'm definitely going to. I think it's my turn to go up to Newcastle for that show. So definitely, I hope to hear your fans kind of in full force on that night, mate. Um,
Hopefully, mate.
definitely. So kind of moving on, obviously, kind of I just mentioned off camera, you are kind of highly regarded as one of the best prospects kind of in British boxing. I remember like I think your debut KO was shared around everywhere on Twitter. Everyone was quite impressed. Then
Mhm.
you moved over and signed with Eddie and Matchroom. Kind of how did you feel when you first got the call to like kind of say that you were going to be signed to Matchroom and signed with Eddie?
Um, it was a good day, to be honest with you. I was pretty happy, but obviously from boxing as a kid and that, you always watch the Matchroom shows. You're always looking at it thinking, I want to be on there, and it's always an aim for every boxer, I think. And nah, it's good, but the job's not done until it's done, is it? So you can be on the platforms and that, but you've got to put the work in the gym, and you've got to work. They say you've got to work in the dark to shine under the bright lights, and that's what I'm definitely doing.
Perfect, mate. I'm gonna get that saying on a t-shirt. That was great. And moving on as well, kind of as I mentioned, kind of, do you feel kind of any pressure with kind of being placed on that pedestal, kind of all of like your knockouts being shown over Twitter, like you said yourself, you were critical about your kind of your performance in your last fight. Do you kind of feel any pressure being held in such high regard in the boxing community?
Nah, to be honest with you, and I mean, I don't really mean to sound like a prick when I say it, but I don't really care what people think about me. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm gonna criticize myself, like I'll be the first one to do it. Like I was after my last fight. Like I know when I'm boxing well, and I know when I'm not. So whatever other people think, like I don't really care.
Mm.
Um, I know what I can do, and then I've just got to go in and do it.
Definitely, mate. Well, best of luck on a March 18th, mate. And I for one, I'm looking
Thank you
forward
very
to your
much, man.
performance.
Thank
Uh,
you.
my final question, Mark. What does boxing mean to you?
Um, boxing pretty much is my life. It pretty much means everything to me. I don't know what I'd do without it. I've boxed. I've trained in a boxing gym from 6 years old. I've had boxing fights from when I was 11, and I don't really know what I would do if I wasn't boxing because all I've done is ever box. So, nah, boxing's everything to me, and there's no plan B. So, boxing has to work.
Perfect, mate. Very honest as always. Mark, thank you again for your time today, mate, and best of luck, March
Thank you very
18th.
much. Thank you very much for having me on, mate. Thank
Perfect.
you.